Okay, so today we're going to be talking about slope-intercept form. Well, that's what we talked about in the last video. So we're going to finish with standard form of a linear equation. Now, standard form of the linear equation is in this form. ax plus by equals c. Okay, a and b have to be real numbers. They can't be 0. Because if they're 0, then we have 0 is equal to c. Okay? This is standard, A, B, C. It's standard to know your ABCs. That's how I remember it. Standard form, ABCs. So here, we have an equation in standard form. Okay, so it's asking us, how do you find the x and y intercepts and the slope of this graph? Okay, there's two ways you can do it. You can solve this equation for y, okay, and put it into the slope-intercept form because it gives you the slope and it gives you where it crosses the y-axis. That's your b-intercept, right? Your y-intercept. So, let's see here. Okay. Well, go away. Okay, step 1. To find the x-intercept, you have to substitute 0 for y, okay? And then you solve for x. So you're going to put 0 in here for y. What happens when you put 0 in here for y? 0 times 4 is 0. So then it just becomes 3x is equal to 24. Watch. Alright? See? So we push the 0 in here for 4. This becomes 0, so now it's 3x equals 24. We divide by 3. Divide by 3. X is 8. So the x-intercept is 8. So we write it. Okay, let me write it right here. If we substituted 0 for y, we're going to put a 0 for y, and the x-intercept is 8. So it's a point. Now, step 2. We're going to find the y-intercept. Well, we're going to do the same thing over here, but now we're going to put in 0 for x. So if we put in 0 for x, 0 times 3 is 0, this goes away. And we're left with 4y is equal to 24, and then we solve for y. See? It's right here. We put in 0 instead of x. This goes away. We have 4y is equal to 24. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Y is 6. 6. So the y-intercept is 6. So then, if we put in 0 for x, we put 0 right here, and 6 for y. So these are the points. Now, here's the 0 here, 0 here. So those are your y-intercepts, okay? Don't go away. Okay. So we found our x and y intercepts. How would we find the slope? Okay? So we found the x and y intercepts. Now we need to find the slope of this line. How would we find the slope? There you go. To find slope, we're going to rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. Do you remember what slope-intercept form was? Y equals mx plus b, right? So that's what we're going to do. So, there's a long process here. Let's look at it. Here is our function, okay? Right here. We're going to subtract the 3x from each side, because remember, guys, we want to isolate the y. We're solving for y like we did in the literal equation. So when we subtract the 3x from both sides, okay, to create that balance, 3x minus 3x, these go away. Then we have over here negative 3x plus 24. We're still not done. We have the 4 that we have to get rid of. So we're going to divide by the 4, divide by the 4, right? Then these go away. Then you have y is equal to negative 3 over 4x. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So our slope is negative 3/4. So we found our slope, and we found our x and y intercepts. Okay? Now, what are the x and y intercepts and the slope of this graph? Again, what are we going to do? Okay? We're going to do steps. So the first one, we're going to solve for x first. have to put 0 in for y. So right here, we're going to put in 0. Okay? So then, once we do this, 0 times 6 becomes 0. So it goes away, and we're left with 5x is equal to 60, right? Divide by 5. Divide by 5. These cancel. 5 goes into 60. Let's see. 1, 1, we have 10, 12 times, right? So x is 12. So our x-intercept is 12, but we write it as a point. Remember, we put in 0 for y. X is 12. So then, we're going to come over here. We're going to solve for y by putting 0 for x. So now we have 5 minus 6y is equal to 60. And when we put in a 0 right there, right, 5 times 0 is 0. So then we're left with negative 6y is equal to 60. Divide by negative 6. Divide by negative 6. These cancel. Y is now equal 60. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 60 divided by 6 is 10. So now we can write this. Remember, we put in 0 for x, and this is now a negative 10. So an intercept, this is where it's going to cross your graph. So you can graph this, right? Your first point is 12, 0. So you can go over here to 12 and 0. Your next point is going to be 0, negative 10. So there's your line. Yeah? So now the last thing we need to do is find slope. Okay. So in order to find slope, we need to rewrite this in y equals mx plus b format. Okay? So 5x minus 6y is equal to 60. Remember, we need to isolate the y. Okay? So we're going to subtract 5x, subtract 5x. These cancel. I bring down negative 6y. I have negative 5x plus 60. I'm not done because my y is right here. So I need to divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, everything. These cancel. I'm left with y is equal to a negative divided by a negative is positive. 5 over 6x. A positive divided by a negative is negative. 60 divided by 6 is 10. Now, here's my slope. Now you notice, this is my b, right? This is my y-intercept. Isn't that what we got? Didn't we get for y-intercept, didn't we get 0, negative 10? Ta-da! It's another way to check. Woohoo! All right. What is the graph of x minus 2y equals negative 2? So we're going to graph it, right? Without your calculators. So you can do this 2 ways. It's in standard form. You can do this 2 ways. Okay? 2 ways. The first one, you can find x, y intercepts and graph. The first way. The second way, you can transform the equation. Transform the equation to y equals mx plus b. This will give you your slope. This will give you your y-intercept. You do your rise over run and graph it. These, you find your x and y-intercepts. you graph them and draw your line. Okay, 2 ways. Write this down, 2 ways. Technical difficulties, guys, I'm sorry. All right, so I'm going to find the x and y intercepts. So step 1, I'm going to put in 0 for y, and then I'm going to graph it. Okay, so I'm going to place 0. Okay, so x minus 2 times 0 is equal to negative 2. So this goes away. And look, I'm left with x is equal to negative 2. So I found my first intercept. I have 0 for y, and I have my x at negative 2. So there's my first intercept. Now I'm going to go over here to step 2. And now I'm going to put in 0 for x and solve for y. So I put in 0 here for x, right? So this goes away, and this leaves me with a negative 2y is equal to negative 2. I divide by negative 2. I divide by negative 2. These cancel. Y is equal to, a negative divided by negative becomes a positive. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I put in 0 for x, and my y is 1. So now I have my 2 points. So when I graph, my first point is negative 2, 0. My next point is 0, positive 1. And there is my line. Okay? I did this by using the x and y intercepts. Okay? Now, I can do this also by transforming this into y equals mx plus b. Okay? So now, if I want to get my y by itself, I want it to look like, I want it to look like that. Okay? So, I need to circle my y. Sorry, guys. I'm in pen and I just messed that up. Okay. So, I'm going to subtract the x, and I'm going to subtract the x from both sides. These cancel. I bring down my negative 2y is equal to negative x minus 2. I'm not done because my y is not by itself, right? So I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Negative and the negative 2's cancel, so I just have y. A negative divided by negative is a positive 1 over 2x. There's a 1 right here. And then a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 2 and 2 is 1. So now here, I have my slope and I have my y-intercept. And if you remember, when we did the y-intercept on the other, it was 0, 1. So my y-intercept is 1. I'm going to go up here to 1. My slope is a positive 1 over 2, so I'm going to go up 1 over 2. And there's my line. So we did it both ways, okay? It's the same line. I just used slope. And if I go down 1 and over 2 here, right, there's my other point. Right, now what is the graph of 2x plus 5 equals y? Now here's where you're going to have to decide. You can either solve for your x and your y-intercepts, or you can transform it into y equals mx plus b equals 20. So I'm going to give you time to do that, then I'll do the answer. I'm going to choose to transform it. Okay, I'm just going to do the long way. I'm going to transform it. So I'm going to subtract a 2x and I'm going to subtract a 2x. And then I bring down my 5y is equal to negative 2x plus 20. Right? I'm not done. I need to divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. these cancel. I get y is equal to negative 2 over 5x, and 20 divided by 5 is plus 4. Okay? So now I'm going to look at the graph. The first thing I'm going to look at is my y-intercept at plus 4. Right here, right there. So B is not the answer. Okay? And then I'm going to say, okay, I have a negative 2 over 5, which means I'm going to fall 2, and then I'm going to run positive 5. Okay? So I'm going to fall 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to run positive 2, 4, 5. Okay, so right here, I forgot. This is going by 2, this is going by 4, this is going by 6. So let me erase that. Okay, so I'm going to fall 2, and I'm going to go over 5, but this is going by 2s. 2, 4, 5. So there I am. Okay, this one over here, if I fall 2, this is also going 2, 4, 6, 8. If I fall 2, and I have to run over 1, 2, this is 2, 4, 5 in the middle, right? Right here, right there in the middle. So my answer is A.